Thank you for tuning in to the World Builder's Anvil, episode 242. The Infinity War!
Don't know where to start building your fantasy world?
Do you need more? Does it make sense?
Forget any worries and become a crafter of imagination.
This is the place where we will prime your mind.
Now, it's time to heat up the forge.
Break out the mithril ingots and hammer.
Welcome to the World Builder's Anvil. I'm Jeffrey W. Ingram.
And I'm Michael Miller.
Let's sup from the muck of Java and build. I'm here alone. Michael's gone. My name is Jeffrey W. Ingram. I'm trying to redo some. I hope we haven't lost half of our audience. I should have thought that through. Crap. I'm going to unstat.
God, I told you not to do that!
These new gloves are awesome.
Would you take them off, please?
Okay.
You can use them later after the show. I hope you brought half the audience back with me.
I don't really know how these work.
You should stop that. Because apparently you're not the only one. I would argue Thanos doesn't know how they work either.
Well, maybe not. I don't know.
So
today's topic, if you haven't guessed it out, we're doing the last word on Infinity War. Because there should be no more discussion about what happened in the last movie by the time this episode comes out.
I don't know if we're going to talk. Well, let's not quite chalk it up to the last word, because the unfortunate truth is Jeff just watched, and actually we're going to use your memory to jog mine. Jeff just finally watched the Infinity War. I wanted to do an Infinity War episode like the day after it released, because I saw it the day it released, and I was so amped up. I had issues with it. I had questions. I had curiosities. I had observations. I have forgotten almost all of them because that was like 7-8 months ago when the movie came out. Mm-hmm. And now Jeff has finally watched it. It's actually been, like 2-3 months? The movie came out like 2-3 months ago, something like that?
It was April.
It's April. So it is more like 3-4 months.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway.
It took a while to go on rental for Amazon.
Fair enough. Before we started the show, Jeff and I started a small argument, and I was like, we should actually have this on the show. There's a couple of there's going to be a lot of character talk. Oh, this is your spoiler warning. If you have not seen the Infinity War, big bad spoiler warning, because we're going to be talking about like all of it. Right now I have to make a quick search for Ragnarok because we have a character argument. Jeff just looked up who the Valkyrie character was, and I'd swear that she has a name and that she was a Valkyrie amongst many Valkyries, and that her name was not Valkyrie, her name was something else, and then that she was a Valkyrie was more like a title, like, oh, well, he's a paladin, or this person's a wizard, or whatever. So I'm trying to look this up real quick, but my thing here is loading very slowly. Let's see.
Trying to take down the internet?
I am trying to desperately. Well, the thing is, on IMDb, if you go to IMDb and you pull up Thor Ragnarok, it's one of these, they spent a little extra time on this particular page, so it's loading a bunch of animation, which I don't need. I just need the name list, but because it's trying to load it, and I'm also streaming video to you and recording audio, it's bogging down. And I'm literally like, just need the screen to crawl like an inch lower. It's so close, I can taste it. All right, here we go. I stand corrected, and I don't like it. It lists her name as Valkyrie, which I think is stupid, because I'd swear in the movie, and it makes me want to rewatch it, she's a Valkyrie. Now, right off
maybe they all have the same name. Maybe it's like George Foreman names all of his sons George.
That's
maybe they
funny.
name all the Valkyrie.
Funny and true. And actually, was she in the second Thor? Or maybe just pull up the first Thor. Because she's definitely in the first Thor. So, also, spoilers for any Marvel movie, because we're going to talk about a lot of different ones. So, and we might not like get in deep on many others aside to little footnotes here and there, because obviously the Infinity War is the culmination of what all of these movies have been building in a universe. And like right now I'm looking up Thor because there's another character who is absent from Infinity War and was also absent, I believe, from Ragnarok.
You're talking about Lady Sif.
Is that her name, Lady Sif?
Sif, I believe. Sif, I think. Because she was actually like the mythological wife of Thor.
Really?
Yes.
As opposed to her placement in the canonical comic book Marvel Thor, not to be confused with the movie Marvel Thor.
Well, a lot of the original characters from the Thor comic book were actual,
of course,
characters from the
of course. But they certainly, they got creative with a lot of that stuff.
Oh, I mean, the exact nature and connections have changed a lot.
They just call her Sif in Thor. I do agree with you that it was Lady Sif, but they just call her Sif on the IMDb page. But regardless, we're still talking about the same character. So here's the thing. Let's start with some small introduction character thing. I'm going to leave IMDb open because I'm sure I'm going to get back to it. So right off the bat, Thanos starts killing people right in the beginning of the movie.
They're already dead mostly.
Well, yeah, there's a bunch of people on the ship
little
that
folk
are gone.
are pretty much all dead.
Right. Heimdall gets killed right in the beginning, which I think is wrong. I think that's a complete waste of Idris Elba and that character.
Yes.
And I think him transporting the Hulk away was a waste of effort. Like, all it does, that is a plot mover. All that does is, I mean, I was talking to my wife about things like this in movies where, and you'll see this in stories and books and everything too, and I think it's sloppy if it's not done right. And I think in this case, it wasn't. It could have, I'm not going to say it was done wrong, I'm going to say it could have been done a lot better, where the storyteller kind of pushes something in a direction out of convenience. So Heimdall sending Heimdall, is that his name? Heimdall? Is it Heimdall. A D? It is a D? Heimdall?
I believe so, yes.
So Heimdall, Idris Elba, sending Mark Ruffalo, the Hulk, to Earth was just to warn Earth.
Yes.
So why not send himself? Why not send the both of them?
Well, and like the Hulk can't die. Yeah, so I mean, but then again, I guess that at that point, he can kill Asgardians, so maybe the Hulk isn't safe either. But maybe he considered the Hulk more important than saving the universe because he sees all. Maybe he.
Oh, you mean Heimdall? Because Heimdall sees all.
Yeah. So maybe he already knew what Strange did.
I don't think Heimdall sees the future. I think his sight is limited to.
To now.
To the physical present, yeah. And
we do know it's limited as well, too, because Loki could sneak around on him a little bit. And he knew Loki was snuck around on him, but he couldn't tell exactly what he did.
Oh, that's another thing. Like, I'm going to be very upset if Loki didn't come up with a way to fake his death, though it certainly seemed like he did not.
Yes. Yes, that's the next big death, I think.
Or, since they're obviously going to... I'm going to address this now, but we're going to have to address it more in depth in a little bit. Since they're obviously going to have to bring a bunch of people back from the dead, maybe they bring back... Maybe they bring Loki back just to kill him again. Just to have a more fitting end to that character.
Well, maybe, but then again, I mean, Loki in the comics and even in the movies really has never held up well. I mean, he's...
Well, yeah, but you have to admit that Thomas Hiddleston?
Great actor, yeah.
I'm saying his name wrong, aren't I? Because I'm thinking of, in my brain is going Thomas Middleditch. And Tom Hiddleston, is that
don't ask me names. That's your job.
You're killing me. It is my job. Just a moment. I'm sure I have it. Hiddleston. Okay, I am saying it correctly. So he is an absolute fan favorite. So it just seemed kind of it seemed a poor death for Heimdall, Loki, Hiddleston. Why didn't Thanos kill Thor? Why not just slaughter all of your enemies at, the ease?
Yeah, well, it's because that's not what he's trying to do. He's not trying to kill everyone. He's trying to bring balance, at least in this version of the story. So,
but why not kill the people that are going to get in your way? Just like when he sends his minions out, he's not concerned about them killing anybody. And they are definitely...
But people will die if they die. If they don't die, they don't die.
Right. So why not kill somebody who could definitely slow you down? Or maybe... I think
he has a gambling addiction.
Well, it also could actually just be arrogance, because he clearly, handed Thor his ass, so maybe he doesn't feel threatened by Thor at all. So it could be that, and that ends up being almost his undoing.
Thought he had later on had blocked his ability to re-weapon. So I think
re-weapon.
So I think he thought, without a high-end weapon, Thor could not beat him, and he had kind of dealt with that, but in his arrogance, not well enough.
Okay, so why don't you start moving through the events, and I'm gonna stop you like every 10 seconds and talk.
So Hulk basically smashes into the Earth as Tony Stark is telling Gwyneth Paltrow that.
Another completely underutilized character.
That he's not going to do anything anymore. He just happens to be there to take care of some business. And the Hulk crashes through Doctor Strange's living room, and they all get together preparing for the first alien encounter. And the Hulk goes away right away. He turns into Bruce Banner.
And let's have a brief discussion about...
And the Hulk did get his butt handed to him as well.
Yeah, like handily. And the thing that's also needs to be acknowledged about Thanos, did he have... Was it... he had the Power Stone first, right? Is that the one that he first grabbed? I'd have to look up.
I don't remember the order of the one.
That's kind of important, but we'll let it go. Thanos can go toe-to-toe with the Hulk. I think if there were no Infinity Gauntlet, that the Hulk would win in a fight with Thanos, but Thanos can still hold his own against the
Thanos
Hulk
is a very powerful
in the comic book. He's still very physically very strong. If you guys have not read the comic books and how the stones are treated in the comic books, they are the reason they're called Infinity Stones is because they have an infinite amount of power in their given thing. So, like the Time Stone is infinitely power regarding time. The Power Stone is infinitely powerful. Any one of these stones, could be used to pretty much dominate most of the universe because they're infinitely powerful. Now, obviously, if a person doesn't really know how to wield them, as Thanos does not appear to, certainly in the movies, in the comic books, he does a little better. And we'll get to motivations. Oh my gosh, I got something. So all of this stuff is flooding back into my head now. Some of it is, not all of it. So the movies obviously need to curtail that power. Just as I'm assuming that when Captain Marvel comes into play, they're going to curtail her power because she is so extraordinarily powerful, it would be, boring.
Well, especially typically in team movies, it's like you don't want your weaker characters that are more popular to be embarrassed so much by your exceptionally powerful characters. So I think that's always been, from a world building perspective, that's always been one of the flaws with these kinds of team ups. It's like, certain characters overperform and other characters underperform, but it makes for better story. But it's not good world building. Which proves one thing, that bad world building doesn't always hurt things. Because this movie did really well. The MCU in general has done very well, and this movie has some problems, and that's definitely one of them. Where it's like Black Panther, Spider-Man are really not on the ssame power level as the other Avengers.
Black Panther is with the suit, definitely. He can go toe-to-toe with Iron Man.
Yeah, and I'd argue that Iron Man is on the weaker side in reality of the Avengers as well.
Well, I mean, if you want to compare him to the Hulk or Thor.
And in theory, the problem that Black Panther would have in a fight with Iron Man is Iron Man can fly.
Well, right. All he's got to do is like...
You know, that's one of those things where you have to bring them to fighting in a way that makes Black Panther look equivalent. But really, he's exceptionally... He's probably as smart as Tony Stark.
No.
Just because of the way Wakanda is run, you know, he has more knowledge of things. He might not have more intelligence.
I would say that he has strong leadership and wisdom, but nowhere near the intelligence or.
Well, I don't mean that in a straight IQ, but in a knowledge of technology, because Wakanda is so far advanced.
Yeah, but I don't think that any of that has to do with T'Challa. I think that has to do with everyone that came before him.
But he knows the stuff that they know. I mean, not as well as like his sister probably knows it better.
Well, his sister definitely knows it better.
Yeah. But he has knowledge into those types of things and can speak with her intelligently about them. So I'd argue he's a very intelligent character with the superior technology. It kind of equals out Tony's advantage there. Not necessarily fighting-wise, because I think Tony brings his intelligence to fighting, and he knows how to use the technology to aid his lack of physical prowess. But Iron Man's always been a bit of a wussy, I thought.
Well, I was about to say there's no way that Tony Stark is anywhere near the fighter that T'Challa is. Not even close.
Not even close.
Because getting back to the flight thing, that always bugs me too. Like, you know, of course, in Civil War, they had to have Bucky and Captain America underground in a fight with Iron Man because he could
which is a fair fight.
He could just fly upward and just blast them into oblivion until they get tired.
But at least that they answered that question with controlling the scene. You know,
and that is good storytelling, good world building. They created a scenario that leveled the playing field, and that's how it should be. So, getting back to bad world building within the Marvel Universe, without creating a bad movie, I immediately point to Ant-Man. Because Ant-Man, the movie, breaks its own rules left and right. Like, you'll be really small, but you'll still have the power of a full-sized man, which basically equates to mass. So if he's itty-bitty but has the same mass power, then he should have the same weight. Okay, let's say he doesn't have the same weight. All right. Well, what about the tank that Michael Douglas walks around with in his pocket, and then he blows it up?
Throws it out as it gets bigger.
And in the second movie, this is the only one I haven't watched yet. I have not watched Ant-Man and the Wasp. Yeah. I haven't watched that yet, but I will be. I might try to see it this weekend.
Who were not also in the movie.
Who are not also in the movie, but Ant-Man and the Wasp explains it. And the events of Infinity War do carry over into Ant-Man and the Wasp there. Like the snap.
It made it into their movie?
It made it into that movie.
Okay.
So there is things that go on there. But he shrinks a building and then casually walks away like it's a piece of luggage. So that sort of thing bothers me because when it's advantageous for Ant-Man or the story, he has mass and power as though he was a normal-sized man when he's small. When it's inconvenient, i.e. Michael Douglas carrying a tank in his pocket, it's dropped. And then if that's the case, then what occurs when he gets really big? You know, if he gets really big, then you'd have to argue his density has to increase for him to be able to grab Iron Man out of the sky, i.e. Civil War.
Or else he wouldn't be strong enough to move.
Not even. He would grab Tony by the ankle and he would fly away with him because Tony's thrusters are strong enough to carry a person.
I'd argue he has so much more of his own weight to carry, he couldn't do it in a large size. That's always been my problem with Ant-Man is...
the physics.
The physics of it don't work. But it proves, though, I mean... It worked as a movie.
Well, right. They're fantastic movies. They're super fun. The whole point is
sometimes world building isn't perfect, and that's okay.
Yeah.
You know, apparently you could make quite a bit of money with bad world building. So
yeah, I mean,
it's not necessarily horrible world building, but you know, once again, if it's not perfect, if it doesn't even make sense, sometimes it's okay. People aren't always looking for that. They're in these kind of movies to escape. They're reading those kind of books to escape. So it's okay to let it go.
Yeah, you guys may have noticed if you ever get on the internet, sometimes people pick apart pop culture. You might have seen it. So no matter how good the world is, somebody's tearing it apart. Star Wars, Harry Potter, Star Trek, Marvel Universe, doesn't matter, whatever it is.
Well, it's funny. Actually, I got a comment on YouTube where someone complained that I had taken an unsubstantiated theory and just ran with it like it was like real. Talking about the fall of iron or Bronze Age civilizations because of the lack of iron weapons and the sea people, which is true. It's a theory, which I grabbed and ran with. And my response was, thank you. I didn't mean to confuse you and think this was education, but, in fiction writing, you could take theories and just run with them because you're making stuff up. And yes, I do that often, because we don't really know what happened in blah, blah, blah BC.
Right. And not only that, he's a fiction writer and he lies.
But, that's the whole point is you take ideas and it feels real enough for you use it and you run with it.
And you extrapolate. All right. So bad guys land on the planet chasing the Hulk shortly after the Hulk meets Doctor Strange. And correct me if I'm wrong, doesn't Doctor Strange grab Thor at that point too? Or,
no.
Or is that the other movie?
You're thinking of the other movie. This movie is he grabs Iron Man.
Okay, I'm trying. When does he meet Thor? That's Ragnarok? Am I thinking
Ragnarok is? I think it's, or maybe it was the Doctor Strange movie. One of the two. I think it was Ragnarok.
No, I think it was Ragnarok. I don't think Thor ran into him in the Doctor Strange movie.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, you keep going because I don't remember the order.
So they meet each other. There's some fighting there. Nothing really major happens. Except you learn that Bruce Banner and the Hulk can't change. Then you cut to Scotland. And this is one of the areas I had a huge issue with.
Why?
Scarlet Witch, Vision are having an affair, which I'm perfectly fine with. I don't care about that. But essentially, Vision gets his butt handed to him.
That's true. I did have a problem with that fight.
And it's like once he got hurt, I could buy onto he was hurt and something in the weapon made him. But the way he got his butt handed to him, and I realized part of it was there was a surprise factor. Like they blocked him from being able to phase out, which is one of his major advantages.
Yes.
But Vision's actually a really powerful character.
Getting back to Infinity, he has the life stone in his
attached
face,
to him.
So infinite.
And the fact
life.
that it hurt him, so badly with the life stone attached to him, kind of bugged me. It seemed really a contrived scene to me, but it was well done with using the Scarlet Witch against him to make it much easier to take him down. So
we run into Captain America and Black Widow. And
the on the lam heroes from Civil War.
Yeah, and I'm annoyed that Hawkeye doesn't make an appearance throughout this entire movie.
Because it was Ant-Man, Wasp, and Hawkeye were the only ones, at least I thought of, that I did not see.
Certainly the three most significant. As
an important characters-wise. And though, once again, I'd argue Hawkeye ain't on the power plane to really be playing with these people anyway.
Not even close. But
then again...
So the Scarlet Witch in the Marvel film universe
is exceptionally powerful.
They have not established her. They still have
her power could destroy an Infinity Stone.
What's that?
One of the whole plot points was her power could destroy an Infinity Stone. Which does make her very powerful.
Take a step back. I said Scarlet Witch, didn't I?
Yes.
I meant to say Black Widow.
Okay, yes.
Black Widow in the comic books is as powerful as Captain America. She was created in some of her creation. Obviously, comic books redo origins of characters left and right. But in one of her origin stories, she was created with she was injected with a super serum akin to what Captain America was given.
And we don't know if that's even happened in here or if that's true.
That's what I'm saying. In the Marvel Cinematic Universe...
They've really underutilized.
Absolutely. And they've never established whether she is any more powerful than your average person. And we assume that she's just your average your above average person anyway. She's she's
human is what they would typically like.
Right. She's a hell of a fighter, but she's never displayed any superpowers. So, and I would argue that her and Clint are not quite a level playing field. I would say she's a little better than he is, but he also has his family, so there's reasons for him not to be in the story, but they had better be addressed, and he had better be in Avengers 4.
He might be dead.
He might be, but I really don't think so.
That would be really lame. Yeah.
That would be crazy, crazy lame if they don't include him in the last movie, especially since there were a lot of characters who were new.
You want just prediction here?
Go ahead.
His family's dead.
Yeah, that would bring him back in the mix real fast.
Yeah. Yes, it would.
Yeah. Or even if they only kill some of his, like maybe they kill his kids, but not his wife.
His
wife loses it, and she can't be with him anymore. And then
I think they all have to be gone, or he has to have someone he can trust to watch his kids.
My thought is if they don't kill the kids, that he would not get back in the mix because he would stay with the kids. Is my thought.
Exactly, I would think so too.
So odds are the kids would, and that's a great prediction. I agree. The other thing is, obviously, we're getting ahead of ourselves. We're getting to the deaths. That's all at the end. There's so much to talk about there. We were talking about
Scotland.
Black Widow and Scotland. Okay, so you keep going.
Yep. So they take the injured Vision to Wakanda to be healed.
Which makes perfect sense. Why?
because once again, their level of medicine, their level of technology is they are the gnomes of the MCU.
That's true.
But gnomes of the MCU.
I don't remember who got him there. Was that because of Captain America?
Captain America. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And who would?
What were they doing in Scotland?
Keep him. Because they were trying to keep it. They were actually informed by
Shield,
the Hulk. The Hulk grabbed Tony's cell phone when Tony shot up into space. The Hulk grabbed his cell phone.
Yeah. So he was like, "Hey, get to Scotland because
they're going to kill Vision.
Things are going down."
Yep.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Mm-hmm. I was about to say ham-fisted, but no, that works. Even though
it was ham-fisted, but it was
no. I would say that that's more than fair. Like that's a character sharing knowledge, because you would argue if they didn't do that, then you'd be like, how come the Hulk didn't call these people? Like phones don't exist. Like how come he isn't informing people he could absolutely get a hold of these people?
Yep.
So
and he's given the means very conveniently, but that's how movies work. Mm-hmm. You need to get it done in a couple hours.
Okay. Next set
back
piece.
To space. Guardians of the Galaxy. Get a distress signal.
So great. Come Rabbit.
Which is actually one of my favorite things of the movie.
Yeah.
We kept calling him Rabbit.
Yeah. Come Rabbit.
But essentially, they come across the Asgardian ship, and they see the destruction of Thanos, which Gamora recognizes right away.
Now, some people have been arguing that what he did was kill half the people on the ship.
Which she could have. They did not show all of the people.
Of course not. But that is what some
everyone
people
in that
have
room was
theorized,
dead.
And I thought that was kind of a fun idea, that maybe he went through the whole ship and said, all right, look, just kill half of it.
He would have broken that later on. So, but essentially, Guardians split up with Rocket and Groot going with Thor to get a new weapon, one capable of killing Thanos.
Mm-hmm. Then what? I don't have a whole lot to add to that. I got some things to add to that later, but
okay. Then let's see. I have a preview actually open in front of me here. So then
you don't remember? You just watched this movie.
That was like 2 weeks ago, maybe 3. I have the attention span of a gnat. Let's see. So they go to find the weaponsmith, which is a perfect choice of character, I would argue, and Gamora and all of them are going to try and stop him. Was it the Collector? I think it was the Collector. It was the Collector.
Yes, they go to see the Collector, i.e. Benicio del Toro, and Thanos is already there. He has already laid a trap for them. Now, this is where we get to one of my first real problems with the Infinity Stone's power. So, at this point, he gets the Reality Stone. The Reality Stone, I believe, is the one that the Collector had.
Which he used to create an illusion that the Collector was still alive and laid the trap.
Right.
To catch
so,
Gamora.
He has the Reality Stone and the Power Stone. He now has the ability to create reality infinitely, even just with the Reality Stone, but he's got the Power Stone to back that up. So,
because I think he actually has 4 stones at this point.
Because
he started off the movie, I think he had 3.
I think he had 2. He definitely got the one from Nova Prime. They never showed that in the film, but and I forget which one they had. Whatever one,
or maybe it was the 3rd one he got. Yeah.
I think that was his 3rd one. We should have laid this out.
Yep,
it's fine. But so he my problem with the way the Reality Stone works in the movie is that if you alter reality, it only affects proximity, because he undoes what's his name, Drax, and what's the woman's name there, Mantis. So he undoes Drax and Mantis, but as soon as he leaves, they're okay. So I have a very big problem with that. That means those stones are not that powerful if they only affect an area.
It didn't matter anymore. So once again, he did not kill. Which, interestingly enough, we don't know if the collector even died.
That's true. That's true.
We assume he did.
Although I want to say we might have been able to see his body in the background. It
disappeared when, unless it was like hidden in the garbage.
I think I remember seeing him in the garbage. I might be making that up, but even if we do see him in the garbage, it still confirm he's dead, right?
But essentially,
I'm just looking forward to Howard the Duck saving the day. That's what needs to happen.
It could go that way. That would be better than the original comic book finale. Join us next time as we continue this discussion of the Infinity War. Thank you so much for listening to the World Builders Anvil.
We would love it if you would share the World Builders Anvil with 2 of your friends.
And so would they.
If they are unfamiliar with podcasts, then you get to introduce them to the wonderful world of podcasting.
Take them to Stitcher or iTunes, or best of all, just send them to our website, www.gardul.com.
That's GARDUL.com.
Now strike while the mithril's hot.